Welcome to Soul, a weekly entertainment show on fashion, arts and culture, food, relationships and mental health. Our weekly co-hosts are Dr. Delvena Thomas, Imani Warren, and Chef Irie. Now introducing our host, Miss Nicky Gelin.
Hey, happy Hump Wednesday, y'all. So this is Nicky Says You Only Live Once, and welcome to another episode of MIA Magazine Presents. So hope you're having a great Wednesday. We're slowly going down a hump. Hope you're having a stress-free Zen Wednesday, and the weekend is almost here. Now, tonight's show is brought to you by our sponsors. So the Florida Lottery and Duke and Dame Whiskey, and also the FAMU Medical Marijuana Education and Research Institute. Get credible information and engage in a safe space to learn and talk about cannabis right here within Florida. Now, call for nominations. Legacy Magazine is now accepting nominations for the top Black educators for 2023. The deadline to submit your nominee has been extended to May 12th. So visit miamediagrp.com for more info. Do we have the flyer to kind of give some visuals? So again, we are accepting our nominations for the top Black educators for 2023. All right. So, here we go right here. So again, visit miamediagrp.com to nominate your top Black educator. Now, y'all, it is Haitian Heritage Month. And the Haitian Compa Festival, it is going down May 20th at Bayfront Park in Miami. Now, we are expecting performances from our very own Pompano, Kodak Black, Tony Miggs, Oswald SXM, and Kai Mazik. And here's a little promo video to get y'all pumped up and amplified. Let's go ahead and drop the video.
The biggest Caribbean event returns Saturday, May 20th. The Mesbin in Dover, in association with Can Money Transfer, presents the 25th annual Compa Festival at Bayfront Park, downtown Miami. Performing live, Kai, Lula, Baki, Oswald, Cross, The Fun Experience, Benjin and Cadillac, Becky, Tony Nick.
All right, y'all. So you know what? Sock Passe, I'm about to be there in the building. Y'all get y'all tickets. All right. Now it is Mother's Day weekend coming up. And let's talk about having a really cute Mother's Day brunch with an art installation at the Dunn's Josephine Hotel called Black Beauty as an Act of Resistance. Now, later on, I'll be speaking to founder Kristin Kitchen and our very own Imani Latifah about the brunch and what to expect at the art installation. But first, we are going to kick off our conversation. We're going to be talking about the Island Space Caribbean Museum is presenting the story of American icon Shirley Chisholm. So here to provide more details is Ingrid Griffith and Caleb Thompson. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to MIA Soul. How is your Wednesday evening going so far?
Pretty good, thank you.
I'm happy the weather was nice today. Today was a really great beach day.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in New York.
Oh, you're in New York?
Yeah. So it's a beautiful spring day.
Okay, yeah. I can't. Yeah, it's spring, right? No, yeah, it's still spring in New York. So I guess is it a little cold still, or
a little breezy, a little cloudy, but nice, comfortable.
Are you flying down for the Mother's Day event?
I am. I'm flying down to perform Unbossed and Unbowed. It's a one-woman show I've written about Shirley Chisholm, who, as you know, or if you come and check it out, you'll know more about her. But she was the first African-American congresswoman in 1968. And she also ran for president of the United States in 1972, the first African-American period to run. So I have written this show. It's an 80-minute long performance. I play Shirley Chisholm and a bunch of other characters, including her mom and dad, so local leaders, national leaders. She is a 10-year-old and a bunch of other people, and it's really not only entertaining, because it really is, but it's informative. It's inspiring and it's empowering, and it's great for family and friends to come and check it out together.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of Unbossed and Unbowed?
Unbossed and Unbowed. Well, her campaign slogan in 1972 on a book she wrote was titled Unbought and Unbossed. So I'm thinking, when I was researching the story, I thought, well, maybe I know for sure, not maybe, I know for sure that she would still consider herself unbossed. And at this point, she would still be unbowed, where she's not kowtowing to anybody. I don't think she would have changed. So I decided to name my show Unbossed and Unbowed.
So what inspired you to write this?
I didn't know a lot about Shirley Chisholm, and I was shocked and surprised that I didn't. I was in high school, college. I heard nothing about her in textbooks, and it was sort of like very surprising when I saw a documentary about her and did not know as much as they shared. But I still had a lot of questions. So I decided to research it and not only write it, but perform it.
So you're like really intrigued and inspired by just her persistence and tenacity, and given that time, a Black woman running for president, like that is so like phenomenal. Like, she didn't give two F's about being in the same space as those white men. So applaud her.
And she did not even care what the other people, men and women of her race, were saying either.
Nope.
Because in the show, you'll see that it was not only the white political machine that was against her, some of her colleagues who were Black were also against her. But she kept going. And it really is about persistence and owning you fully.
Exactly. So I see that Island Space Caribbean Museum is presenting. So she has a bit of, Caribbean background. You want to talk more about that and why it's so important, especially to our Caribbean audiences?
Absolutely. So her background, and for those of you who don't know, Island Space Caribbean Museum is the first and only Caribbean heritage museum in the world, meaning that, we've all gone to a Jamaican museum or a Haitian museum or a Cuban one. We're the first one that actually represents the whole Pan-Caribbean region and everybody in it. So this will actually be our first time seeing Ingrid in this play, and this will be her first time visiting the museum. But her project came across our desk last year, maybe around this time, and it was kind of too close to make something happen. And we decided at Island Space, because Shirley Chisholm is one of the faces that you see in the museum, that this would be a great opportunity to execute when we could. And I just want to say out loud, because I realize that even though it's Island Space that's putting it on, people don't put two and two together. People think of Shirley Chisholm as an African-American icon, and she was, but her mother was Barbadian. Her father was Guyanese, as is Ingrid. Ingrid is actually Guyanese by birth. And Shirley Chisholm, went to primary school in Barbados. They just named, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, they named the primary school that she went to after her on the island of Barbados. And so she actually spoke with a heavy Barbadian accent even into her older years. If you look at documentaries with her, you'll hear that little bit of, Caribbean accent in her voice. And so we are proud of that as the curator, as the co-founders or the founders of Island Space Caribbean Museum. And we wanted to bring that connection of the African American and the Caribbean American with this play for Mother's Day through Ingrid.
Yeah, she broke barriers for Caribbean people, period. And around that time, and having an accent, woo!
I don't think you hear the accent if you're looking at like her addresses and stuff. We can hide it when we're ready to hide it.
Yes.
But one of the things that we're proud of at Island Space is that we don't just look back into our past at where we're coming from, meaning the Caribbean region. We also look at what our connection is to America right here. So people like Shirley Chisholm, names like Marcus Garvey, many people do know he was Jamaican. Many Americans probably don't. People like Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers, they just did this huge play about his life. He was born in Nevis, right? So part of yeah, there you go. So part of, a lot of people don't realize, because Kamala Harris talks about her Indian heritage. People don't know that her father was Jamaican. The Jamaican community does, but the broader community may not know that. And so that's a lot of what we do at Island Space, and part of the reason that we thought it was so important to bring Ingrid and her play here and really expose that connection, that real connection that we have with the African American community as Caribbean American people.
Wow.
It's funny that you mentioned Marcus Garvey, because Marcus Garvey is in the show. He was one of Shirley Chisholm's father's sort of like mentors, in the sense that he followed him, and Shirley Chisholm, as a young girl, would hear him talking about Marcus Garvey. That's Marcus Garvey. And so she would feel that power and see how important it was to have somebody that you're looking up to. That's your color. That's a leader.
And he's Caribbean.
Empowering us.
Yes, he's the father of the Pan-Africanism movement. Like he's, and he's Jamaican too. So I'm sure they had that connection during that time. So Ingrid, when you come, you have to come get some doubles and China and bust up shots when you come down here. There's some really nice places. You get some of that kind of okay.
Some cook up rice.
Oh, I don't know that one, but I don't know
chicken.
Oh, I know the doubles and the bust up shots and the China. So
the bust up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So where can we get more information and purchase tickets?
So you can get information at Island Space FL. So it's Island, spell out the word space, FL like Florida.org/Mother's Day show. This really was an alignment for Mother's Day. Some people will say, oh, I want to laugh and whatever on Mother's Day. I'm sure there's some comedy, there's some humor, but it's about empowerment. Thank you very much. It's about empowerment. It's about that connection with the phenomenal women among us. She was a phenomenal woman. Nicky Gelin, am I saying it right? is a phenomenal woman. Okay. Yes. There you go, right? Nicky Gelin, right? Is a phenomenal woman. As is Ingrid, and that's what we want to do. We want to empower the women among us. So, I'm bringing my 96-year-old grand aunt, who has, seen all of these people and gone through all of this. And we hear about these multiple generations of women coming out to this show. So today, if you're watching live on Wednesday, May 10th, is the last day to get your early bird pricing. It's still $25 today. Tomorrow it goes up to $35. But we don't mind the extra $10. Yes. Come in your groups. If you're coming in a large group, you can get a discount, but you get it at islandspacefl.org/Mother's Day. Bring a lot of people and come out and have a great time.
Yeah, and it's at 2:30 p.m. is when it starts.
Sorry, yes. So don't come to Island Space Caribbean Museum, right? We're promoting it. We're putting the show on with the support of the Community Foundation of Broward, who are our underwriters for this. But it's actually taking place at the Pompano Beach Cultural Center. So that's right off 95 on Atlantic. You're gonna go east on Atlantic. And we open the doors at 2:30. By 3 o'clock, the show is gonna start, and we'll do the meet and greet with the artists afterward, and we'll be out of there by 5. So
all right. So to all the Caribbean viewers, don't get there on Caribbean time. Here, the show starts at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
So
exactly.
Tell yourself to be there at 2 o'clock, so you're there at 2:30. All right.
Exactly. Get the good seats, right?
Yes, for the good seats, exactly. So thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Thank you for bringing awareness to the community, especially just highlighting our Caribbean community as well, because there's so much that we have to contribute to American society. Exactly. So thank you so much, and
happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. And of course, as a Jamaican, I have to big up Dexter, big up MIA, yes. Big up all the Jamaicans, Chef Irie from Tasty Island.
Grenada. He's Grenadian, so
I know. Yeah.
Yes,
I know that. I don't know if your viewers know that. And here's a great connection for you that I'm sure Chef Irie ain't gonna tell you. I was the producer of his TV show, Taste the Island.
What?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, so when he gets on here, you just load him up for me, all right?
On American Public Television, yes.
Yes,
All right.
there you
So
go.
thank you
All
so
right.
much, Ann. Look more.
Thank you. All righty, take care. Look more.
All right. Bye. And now on to my first co-host. She's our board certified psychiatrist and also the founder of the Brain Love podcast. So Dr. Alma, also known as Dr. Delvena, I'm taking the couch with you tonight. What are we talking about?
Hola, 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 hola. Are you ready to take the couch, Nikki?
Ready.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Wednesday night, we do this every night. It's Wellness Wednesday. You guys know I bring the mental health tips and a little bit of mental health information. And so, as usual, we are talking mental health and wellness. The topic tonight is social media in teens. If folks aren't aware, there was a recent study and some recommendations that came out from the American Psychological Association. I was on NBC 6 News on yesterday evening and last night, just mentioning some tips for parents. I'm not sure how much of the interview they actually kept and what was edited out, but I just wanted to go over some of those things, Nikki, so that folks can be more aware of the dangers of social media in children. It really is an important topic.
Yeah.
So, but before I do that, I just want to say, I just sidebar, you guys were talking about West Indies, right? So formerly Jamaica and the Caribbean was referred to as the West Indies. I just finished the book Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, almost said Wilkerson, Charmaine Wilkerson, Black Cake. Excellent read. I see why it's a New York Times bestseller and why it's an Oprah Winfrey Book Club joint, because it's a really good book, and it gives you a lot of history about um, folks who are part of the BIPOC or the diaspora who their heritage started or began in the Caribbean, but some of them, their heritage began in China or in London or, so it's so much information I was not aware of regarding your ancestry, Nikki, because you're Jamaican, right?
Yes, I am Jamaican. There is a lot of people, the perception that within the Black countries or nations, that we're all Black. As you say, you have Chinese, Jamaicans, Chinese Haitians, white Jamaicans, white Haitians. I mean, they're not just, we're not just Black people. So that's I have to read that book. That's going to be a really good read.
Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Yes, you do. You have to read it. So, all right, let me get to tonight's topic, social media and teens. The recommendation is that any child under the age of 14 should have serious limits on their social media use. In fact, they are recommending that parents have to give parental consent for anyone under the age of 14 to use social media. And if you're wondering why, it's because of the studies that were completed, conducted since, I want to say they began these studies actually when Facebook appeared on college campuses back in 2005, 2006. But they've had more studies, and these studies show that social media use leads to increased sadness, aka depression, increased anxiety, aka nervousness, increased self-injury, an increase of eating disorders, an increase of cyberbullying, a decrease in self-image and self-confidence. And so this is why mental health professionals are recommending and pushing the government to do more. There are a lot of other recommendations as well, but obviously, we have a limited amount of time here. Please go on the American Psychological Association website, go on NBC6 on their website. They have the recommendations from the APA. And I would just say, be sure that you're communicating with your children. Be sure that you know what sites they're visiting. Put some parameters, some limitations on their smartphones. And I am also a person who believes in no smartphones for children in elementary school. A child in elementary school does not need a smartphone. In fact, it's my recommendation based on what I see in my office and the children who have come through. And I know that this is absolutely factual, that the rates have gone up in our kids. And in terms of these pathological mental health diseases, the depression, the anxiety, children shouldn't have access to smartphones until they're around the age of 12 or 13, because prior to, they are too young to understand the seriousness of the phone and the access to the information that they are receiving when they're playing on that phone. I've seen children act out, misbehave, disrespect parents, leave the house in the middle of the night because of something they saw on social media on their phone. I've seen Black kids start to engage in self-injury more than ever before, the cutting and the burning. So I've seen personally the negative consequences of social media and the smartphone use when it's premature. And even when your child hits that age, you should ensure that you're talking to them and that you're setting limits. Don't allow them to be on the smartphone during dinner, during a meal. Have limits, and also teach them they shouldn't be on their phones all day long, because if they're on the phones, what are they not doing? What do you think, Nikki? If they're on the phone, what are they not doing if they're like this all day?
Well, first of all, they're not taking a break to go outside, get some fresh air, to go ride your bike, or to go read, but it is it is very addicting. I do want to say that for a lot of minors under the age of 13, they do lie as well. When they create these accounts, they're saying that they're 18, because if they say that they're 13, they're going to have to, get permission. So they're able to bypass that. So I'm curious to see how are they going to regulate that?
Well, parents have to regulate it, right? We can't rely on the system to do everything for us. So, as I stated, why does your child have a smartphone? If you're saying because they need to call home or because they have to do this and do that and need a phone, get them a flip phone. I tell parents this all the time, get that flip phone. They can dial in and call someone on the flip phone. Make them wait on the smartphone. It's too much. A smartphone is basically a computer in the palm of their hands. And you're right, they do misrepresent, they do lie, which is why they shouldn't have access to a smartphone before the age of 12 or 13. And you should also condition your children not to have access to social media before the age of 14. I'm all in. I agree with it. So I hope people take this seriously. And my last recommendation to everyone is to lead by example. You can't be a parent telling your child, do as I say, not as I do. Right? If you're at dinner and you're in your smartphone, you're texting, you're doing stuff, you're on social media, you're not providing great guidance for your child. You're not providing solid guidance for your children.
That is absolutely correct. And I think you just called me out. So, all right. Dr. Alma, is that all? Anything more to add?
So this is my flyer for Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental Health Awareness is during the month of May. I do have some great guests on the show this month. This past Sunday was Camille Caesar, the owner and president of C. Caesar Inc. We discussed financial wellness. This coming Sunday is Jasmine Charmaine. She's in Houston, Texas, and she's the ADHD coach. So we're talking about what is ADHD in adults, how does it present, what can you do to address it? And then the following 2 Sundays, we got Sheila McCrae with African dance and drumming and how that really helps enhance your mental wellness. She suffered from postpartum depression back in the day and got into African drumming and cured herself. And then Nene Brooks is a hairstylist in Atlanta, Georgia. We're talking beauty inside out. So, and one last thing, yesterday was Fentanyl Day. Oh gosh, I want to say it properly. Give me a second to pull it up. Where is it? So yesterday was, we acknowledged fentanyl and the overdoses that have occurred and the increase of the overdoses. So just to remind people about that, tell your kids, say no to drugs. I'm sorry. That's all I got for you, Nikki. Say brain love.
Brain love. See you next week, Wednesday. And y'all, now on to my next co-host. He is a celebrity NBA and NFL chef. He's also a guest chef on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. So, Chef Irie, you there? Where you there? I'm gonna see you. Where you there? There he goes.
Okay,
There he
I am
goes.
here, and I know it might be a little noisy, but I am here this evening at the thank you party for South Beach Food and Wine. And because I know that I was going to be amongst friends and friends who participated and friends I've known for a long time, I wanted to have them come on to the show real quickly just to say, hello. So first up, we got Chef Anthony in the building. Just say a quick vibe.
What's up, y'all? Chef Anthony Wine in the building.
Yeah.
Network, South Beach Wine and Food Festival. Thank you, party. So thank you all for having us. All right.
Awesome. And right in the corner, we have Chef Letty Alvarez.
What's up, everybody?
And tell him your business, Letty.
My business is LA Sweets. We've been in business since 2008. Any cupcakes you need, I got the best red velvet that will drop you to your knees.
And of course, a lot of us who were able to participate this year at Sobe was definitely because of the insistence of this lady right here. Don't do it with Lisa today, yeah. You know her on the show, so she's here.
Yeah.
So say a little something, Lisa.
I can't wait for 2024 to come around so that we can do this all over again. We're looking for new chefs. Come on, let's do something together. Next time, I'm looking for us to do something together.
Dexter, we are looking to do something together. And of course, over here in the corner, we got Chef Maurice.
Hello.
Right. And tell the people where you are.
I am in Miami and Atlanta, actually. And everything was great. Food Network was good for us. Got a lot of connections, and I look forward to doing it again next year.
Awesome.
That's what's up.
So we are here at Giselle, I guess Club 11, yes. And everybody is here, all the sponsors, the chefs that participated, and whoever participated in South Beach that were able to come tonight, they're here this evening. And every year after Sobe, they have this event.
Yeah.
And so it's about food, it's about networking, it's about fellowshipping. And so I'm here this evening, and I couldn't think of anything better to do than to showcase some of the people who I have known for a long time that I love very dearly, and to have them come on the show just to say hello to the MIA people and the MIA crew. So Nicky, you're looking lovely, and yes, salute. Yes, we are here.
Have a wonderful time. You all deserve it.
Why, thank you, darling, and we will see you on Saturday.
Yeah, see you Saturday. All right. Enjoy. Oh, all right. Okay, yeah. Have a drink for all of us. All right. So now to our featured guest tonight. I'm speaking to hotelier and also founder and CEO of the Sojourn Heritage Accommodations. It's our guest, Kristin Kitchens with the Dunn's Josephine Hotel, and also our very own arts and culture expert connoisseur, Imani Latifah, founder of the Sepia Kaleidoscope. I think I said that wrong.
You did that fine, Nicky.
Okay, yes. Now, she was also hands-on with the Mother's Day brunch and art installation, and it's called Black Beauty as an Act of Resistance. So let's get right into it. Now, Kristin, this question is for you. So for those that may not know, tell us briefly of the why about the start of the Sojourn Heritage Accommodations.
Well, it is somewhat like a night at the museum. So we decided that how do we teach Black history in a wonderful, passive way? And so the thought was we will create these amazing heritage spaces so that Black people can see their own pictures on the walls, their own faces on the walls. And we tell the African-American history story in every hotel or bed and breakfast that we own.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's so fascinating. Like, how do you choose those like historic sites or properties or landmarks?
Oh, well, I'm a historian by trade, so I'm always looking. And we're now moving into our 5th project and our 6th project, so they're kind of finding us now. So people are calling us and saying, "Hey, can you do that? Can you do that in our town?" So, and then a lot of it is tied to economic development and what incentives a community or a city has to inspire us to come there. So it's been really an awesome journey.
Thank you for that.
And I can tell the Black history story in any town.
Yeah.
You just put me there, give me 5 minutes, and I can tell you a great, place where we contributed to the American fabric.
Of course.
Yes.
And then opening its doors in 2019. Why was the Dunn's Josephine Hotel so important to revitalizing?
Well, I think, Overtown is changing drastically. And so, 12 years ago, this project started, and I asked them, I asked the community, who will even know Black people were in Overtown in 20 years. So, every year I would come back and say, hey, we need to preserve this hotel. Hey, we need to preserve this hotel. And finally, we got a new commissioner that was all about it, and he made it happen. So it's
Miami's Harlem, baby. Miami's Harlem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's Miami's Harlem. It's the heartbeat of Black culture in Miami. Yes. And when Imani started interviewing these women, and you listen to them talk about how proud they were, and I mean, just stepping out on 2nd Avenue in your Sunday best, and just all of this amazingness that, it's just so exciting to be a part of that kind of history and culture.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So Imani, this question is for you. So the Black Beauty as an Act of Resistance pop-up exhibition, it's on Mother's Day this Sunday. So what is it, and what can we expect?
So this is a tribute to almost a long forgotten institution. And I call it an institution because in 1936, there was a school that was started by David and Laurel Julius called Sunlight School of Beauty Culture. And there was kind of something going on, a wave in America where there were a lot of different beauty cultures. Of course, we are familiar with Madam C.J. Walker, but then there's institutions around the country that I'm finding. But what's so unique about this is that it started with a conversation with Dr. Enid Bickney. Shout out to her, who called me from the beauty salon today because she's fabulous. She's the founder of the historic Hampton House, but she was the one who was like, yeah, well, the ladies of Sunlight. And I'm like, well, what's that? And where are they? And where's the building? So kind of like a kid in a candy store asking all these questions. And I wanted to know where they were. Well, turns out their first location was right here in historic Overtown. However, there's no markers. However, when you Google it, you can't find it. So that sparked my investigation. And presto, I found some older queens, and they're fabulous. They're 90 years old. They still drive their Cadillacs. The oldest one we interviewed, she's 100. Miss Luella Gracious, she still polishes her toes. Yes, fabulous.
And they're here. They're still here.
They live here in Miami.
Are they going to be there on Sunday?
They're going to be here Sunday. Yes. And they're beautiful, and they all that sharp up there. And so
they wear heels.
Yeah. They're fabulous.
They still got on their heels.
They're fabulous.
Oh, fabulous.
So
fabulous.
Oh my gosh.
The exhibition is a tribute to Sunlight. So we wanted to create a 1940s ode to the Black beauty culture here in Miami, because Miami needs that Black history boost, especially when it comes to Black women, Nikki.
Yeah, yes. Dunn's Josephine, where our lobby is, that used to be a barbershop, and where we have the breakfast room where you guys had your event, that used to be a beauty shop. So when she started telling me about this, I said, oh, why don't we turn our breakfast room back into a 1940s beauty salon and celebrate these women? And so that's just what we've done. And it's going to be amazing. Yeah, the top is amazing.
So I see TV Media Group Tamika. She said, "Yay!" So we do have comments, public comments.
Yes.
Also, get Tamika for that shout out. So okay, now how was like the hair and makeup and fashion back then? I'm just
let me tell you. So we have the Nicki Minaj's, but come to find out, in the 50s they were having these balls where they would dye their hair pink and green. It
Yeah.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
And they would do these elaborate kind of costumes, which they call glamour. And so, of course, for those who don't know, there was a Black woman who invented the hair weave, but you'll find out more about that. But these women were doing Sunlight Beauty queens every year. They were a big part of the, what is it called? The classic. What is it called every year when they have the Sun Classic that comes to Miami? But they
the
were
Orange Blossom.
The Orange Blossom.
Yeah,
Classic,
the
right.
Orange Blossom. Classic.
They were doing very elaborate things. And we're talking about Black women who were going from domestics to traveling to Paris in the 1950s and 60s.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, yeah. And they told us, and we made a lot of money. And we
And
were
knew
like,
how to
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
too cute. Just too
Is
cute.
there a particular dress code for Sunday? Like, how should we be dressing for Sunday?
Just put on your Sunday best. Just Mother's Day Sunday best. Put
I
your
love it.
clothes on, brunch clothes on.
You know, you gotta come dressed to impress because we don't want the elders to outdress us.
Oh yeah, I mean they're walking in heels still, and they still painting their toenails. And yes, I gotta come correct.
The other beautiful thing about when Imani was interviewing him and we had the chance to listen, they pay so much respect to the next generation. You know, we were talking about, you know, the natural hair and getting paid $300, $400 to do braids. They were just like, go girl. I mean, they were so proud and they understand the legacy that they have left. And, you know, they're like, we're pressing hair for $1. And now people are making $300 to do hair. So it's really, you know, an amazing opportunity to listen to them and how they are so excited about what their legacy has brought to the beauty culture.
Right.
That was what was really amazing.
Yeah,
you know, all positives, all loving what the new generations are doing.
And it's beauty. And again, Black women are the #1 spenders of like hair.
Absolutely.
We're the #1 spenders. Like they're making so much money off of us. The beauty supply stores, the hairstylists, we're the #1 spenders. So it's great to see that. And I'm just so happy that they're here so we can talk to them, we can hear their story. Can you imagine all the things they've seen at that time?
Oh my
gosh. I'm sure they've seen they've seen so many an evolution, you know.
Yeah. Okay, before we go, Nicky, I gotta tell you this. So one of our Sunlight Beauties, her name is Miss Bertha Sneed. Two things. She has like a PhD in cosmetology. I didn't even know you could do that. And she told me the story one time about how they buried Revlon. And I was like, well, what you mean buried Revlon? And this happened in the early 1960s. They were upset and frustrated that Revlon was not hiring any Black people to kind of fulfill these spaces, especially Black women. So they got together right here in Miami, because who knows this history, and they got a coffin and they got a bunch of Revlon and they put it in the coffin and they had a funeral.
And they had a funeral. and a preacher preached the eulogy.
Yes. And they spoke
and they boycotted Revlon until Revlon started having Black representation.
Right.
So, which is kind of similar to modern day times.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. It was so powerful. Right. We were like, what? So they knew just when you speak about, you know, the amount of money the Black women spend in this industry, they knew the power that they had. And very quickly, Revlon was like, "Oh, we get it."
They got together. So, if any of our elders here or any of our young people have grandmamas, aunties, cousins, and them who went to Sunlight or any beauty school, come see us.
Call us.
Come see the installation. Let's have these conversations. Let's archive. We're trying to save our Black beauty industry here in Miami. And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So how can we get more information and purchase tickets?
You can go to the DunsJosephineHotel.com, or you can go to Eventbrite. You can get on Eventbrite and look up Black Beauty as an Act of Resistance.
Yes.
It's on our site. It's on their site. And or you can call us at the Duns Josephine and we will take your reservation right there over the phone. So yes, we're so excited about this.
Yes, me as well. I'm actually attending.
It's going to be the bomb.
Yes.
So I'm attending with my mother. So yes,
Awesome.
I'm bringing my mom with me.
Yes.
So I have a few cute. You want to say something, Imani?
Oh no, Dr. Delvena, I got you. Friday is our VIP. Sunday is for all of our beauties and their moms. So I got you, Dr. Delvena. I wanted to respond to my girl's question, but yes, Nikki.
Perfect. So now we're gonna get into our MIA. So talk. They're really cute questions. So it's a brunch. So waffles or pancakes?
Ooh, I think there's waffles.
No, what do you like? What's your preference? Waffles or pancakes? What do you like?
Pancakes. I'm from Tennessee.
Waffles.
I'm a
Okay.
pancake girl.
I mean, it's the same ingredients, but okay.
Yes.
So bacon or sausage?
Bacon.
Sausage.
Okay. Wine or champagne?
Wine.
Ooh, all of that. All of that.
So okay. All of that. So what is your favorite Black hairstyle era? I'm gonna go down a list and you gotta, what is your favorite? Now, we got the 1920s, the flapper finger waves, pin curls. 1940s to 50s was the updos and the rollers. Okay. 60s was the natural afros. And then the 80s was a Jerry curl, box braids. Wow. What is your favorite Black hairstyle era? 20s, 40s, 60s, or 80s?
I think I'm going with the afros because that was when we had James Brown and Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Angela Davis,
that
baby.
was when we were fighting the power, finding ourselves. I remember that I would say when I was 2, Black is beautiful. I didn't even know exactly what that meant, but I knew I was supposed to be saying it. And I would say Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful.
Back beautiful.
So absolutely.
Okay.
And, that's part of this whole pop-up because, beauty it's got so many different levels, and using it as an act of resistance. It was really about, our beauty salons are where we went during the civil rights movement, when we, you may not have been able to speak as loudly if you were employed because they would fire you. Right. But if you had a beauty salon, then that's where the meetings were, barbershops and beauty salons. Right. It's not just about beauty, it's about the power of these women that were brave enough to decide to open their doors for justice and for the civil rights movement and for something greater. And I really feel like while I'm not in the beauty industry, without that kind of power and without that sense of capacity, there'd be no me, right? These are the first of those women entrepreneurs who were like, look, I got to step out there and build my own business. And they did it. And that's why it's so, it resonates with me so much. And my grandmother was a maid. She, died a maid. But that hair was perfectly coiffed every single day. This is what I do, but this is who I am. She was sharp, and I think that's really what we're speaking about when we talk about an act of resistance. It's so much more than just about hairstyles. It's about power, women's empowerment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Imani, you gonna tell us your favorite era?
Mine is probably 1940s because there was so much going on, but I love those sophisticated hairdo. I showed Chris this one video today from the 1940s. These women had updos, but because it was wartime, they had like trucks and all kinds of little stuff.
American flags in their hair.
I'm telling you,
their hair. I didn't know that.
The genius of everything that we do, even wearing political statements in our hair.
Yeah, they had soldiers in their hair.
Yes. So
it was super powerful.
When you come, you're going to be a part of the conversation. We want you to be able to kind of have that exchange with our elders. If you're interested in documenting, we want you to be able to document your own personal stories, because that's what I'm looking for. Tell me a story about what happened to grandmom and them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We want to kind of relive that. And then tribute to my grandmother, my father's mother, who was a beautician. Of course, I grew up in West Philly, but my Floridian roots have me vetting myself into this. And that's what we want our young people and our elder people to do. Come together, get this history. or
Yes.
Harper's.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So, what would you tell your younger selves, and how old would you be? Anyone can go first.
What would I tell my younger self? Hold
Yes.
your ear, baby.
Wait, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Hold your ear, baby.
Oh, hold your ear.
When you get your hair fried,
Oh yeah, you gotta like comb it down so you don't get burned.
Sunday mornings, try not to get your hair burnt.
Sunday before
Grandma, be still, so she could get them edges.
Like
yeah, and you be like stiff, like.
That's how you know that heat before. They might be waiting in your hair, but that heat comes, you holding your ear.
Right.
That's something that Black women know, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. Hold your ear, baby. You know, I'm gonna have to co-sign with that because that says so much. We all can relate to that. And whether you got perms or locks, if you done had your hair
whether you went to the salon or was in the kitchen,
right? You know how to hold your hair. That's not something.
It, for me, was the hot comb on the stove.
Yes.
Hot comb on the stove, and then
right to the salon.
But then you talk to our bathing beauties like Miss Nee. She's like, "Oh no, I didn't touch your ear. You didn't have to hold your ear with me." I said, "Okay." Yes, ma'am. That's some real training from the Sunlight Beauty. So that's what we're here for. Yes.
Well, very, very excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to bring my mother. She was born in 1958. So, you know, but my grandmother was an ebony model. So she has like the updo pins and all of that. Yeah. So I'm going to try to bring her.
Please bring some photos.
Yes,
bring some photos.
Come share. And as many ladies that have come, please bring your photos. We want to see. We want to document. Come on, bring your stuff now. Bring your stuff. Yes.
All right. Yes.
We have some artwork that's from a lady named Paula Smith, and she was from Cincinnati, and she was a clothing designer for the Macy's and all of these. She just recently passed away, but she was an artist, and some of her work is on display. But she did, you know, clothing design, shoes, all kinds of stuff. And you know, it's just really important to tell our stories and to speak about, you know, these inroads that we made into the beauty and fashion world that people don't know about it. We were designing the dresses in the back. You know what I mean?
It's just so much history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had some of her original drawings of dresses that she was designing.
Sketches and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's me. That's the stuff I love. So
absolutely.
All right.
Well, we can't wait for you to come.
Yes. I'll be there on Sunday. Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much. Super exciting. See you on Sunday. And enjoy your Wednesday night.
All right. Beautiful blessings.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye. And y'all, don't forget that you're able to select the nominations for your top Black educators for 2023. The deadline was extended to May 12th. Visit miamediagrp.com for more information and to submit your nominees. And that's all I got for y'all. Happy Hump Wednesday, and I'm see you next week.